Hi, this is Aaron Hurst, and I am absolutely thrilled to be with you today and to be part of your incredible network of people who are truly on the front line of making a difference in this country and figuring out how to harness the incredible purpose that exists within the veteran community to truly sort of change the nature of work, to change our country, to support each other. And I wanted to sort of join you today to talk about the idea of a moonshot. And to really call on all of you to join me in my moonshot, the moonshot of my organization, but to also call on you to think about what is your moonshot? What is the incredible contribution, the contribution that you can only imagine but are not even sure how to get there, that you want to partake in your career? The discussion today really begins with my grandfather. He was a member of the military back in World War II and actually signed up right at the beginning of the war, went to officer training at Harvard Business School, and then went to Germany, was part of the Marshall Plan, rebuilding Germany, trying to ensure a sustained peace in the region and in the world. And then after that, he did a series of things, but one of them was that he joined the Kennedy administration and worked with the State Department to develop the original strategy for the Peace Corps. And this for him was this incredible opportunity to bring people together from different cultures to truly get to know each other, to build bonds of true humanity between cultures. And I think it's one of the most incredible parts of the United States legacy of our government sort of in history. And part of what we all loved about sort of the idea, the romance of the Kennedy administration was his effort to put the first person on the moon, this moonshot. And this is where this term sort of became part of the popular vernacular. This idea of having a goal that was so important and that was needed and that was inspiring, not knowing how you were going to do it, but just getting the people together, giving them that challenge that caused them to rise to the occasion and to figure out how to make it possible. And as we all know, the sort of story ends with us getting to the moon, planting that flag, showing what we are capable when we all come together. For me, I have been, part of an original moonshot, and I'm now working on my second moonshot. And I want to share a little bit about that journey. My first moonshot really came out of my first nonprofit organization, the Taproot Foundation, which I started in 2001, right after 9/11, when there was this incredible desire for people to do something to contribute to the greater good, to be relevant, to make their work matter. And my moonshot was to make the pro bono ethic, the pro bono ethic that we think of in the legal profession. We think about lawyers doing pro bono work. What I saw was that nonprofit organizations needed more than just legal. They needed marketing, they needed tech, they needed HR. And we needed to bring the pro bono ethic from the legal profession into these other industries, into these other professions, so that nonprofits had access to this talent without having to pay for it, so that they could truly achieve their mission in our communities. And with funding from Bill Draper, one of the sort of pioneers of venture capital in Silicon Valley, we worked to figure out how do we build a model that makes pro bono work possible outside the legal profession. And we scaled across 7 cities in the US, ultimately started working with the White House and the president to build a national campaign to get CEOs to pledge pro bono work, built out a $15 billion a year marketplace for pro bono service in the US, got it integrated into trade associations, business schools, trade schools, this idea that our skills as professionals can be used for more than just commercial purposes, that we can truly make a difference. And this was so inspiring to people that we had a partnership that emerged with the BMW Foundation out of Berlin, going back to Germany, sort of that connection, and brought this to 30 countries around the world, from China to Costa Rica. This incredible idea that as professionals, we can do something so much more than just achieve commercial ends with the skills that we've been fortunate enough, privileged enough to have as professionals. And really got to that tipping point where we now see the role of business in society has shifted. The way people think about volunteering, the way people think about using their skills has fundamentally shifted in our society. And it all really began with that moonshot and calling on people to say, this is possible. We can achieve this goal. One of the things, though, that I realized sort of towards the end of the Taproot Foundation, my adventure there, was based on doing marketing, trying to figure out how do we recruit people to do pro bono work and trying to understand what motivates them so that we can market this opportunity. And the thing that we discovered was that the number one reason people did pro bono work was because their work itself was not fulfilling enough. They weren't getting what they needed from their work. And this actually caused me to realize that we had sort of set this moonshot at Taproot, and that we had sort of got to that goal, or we were on the course to get there, but that there was a new moonshot that was necessary when we saw that actually people's work itself was not fulfilling. The things people were doing for 30, 40, 50, 60 hours a week in their job was not meeting their need, and realizing that volunteering in a way was just a supplement. It was like taking a vitamin to make up for not eating well. Realized we needed to figure out a way to change work itself. So I left Taproot and started a company called Imperative and wrote a book called The Purpose Economy with a new moonshot, which was to make work as powerful, as meaningful, as fulfilling as pro bono work. And one of the first things we did is we partnered with New York University, and we did a study to understand, well, what is the current state of the workplace? And what we found was that 66% of Americans working full-time reported that they weren't fulfilled at work. And this is devastating when you think about it. When you think about how much time we spend at work, you think about the impact on someone's life that they're unfulfilled at work and like how sad that is, the impact that has on their family, the impact that has on society, the impact that has on their team, on their company. This, I believe, having people asleep at the wheel like this, turned off during so much of their time, is a large part of what has caused so many of the problems in our society, from our political system, our health, our educational system, our civic engagement, our economies. Are all tied to the fact that we are not realizing our potential. We're not really living our lives fully. So our big, hairy, audacious goal, our moonshot, was to go from 66% of the workforce being unfulfilled to 66% of the workforce being fulfilled by the year 2030, just 10 years from now. That is our moonshot. That is our goal as a company, as a movement, to make work meaningful for the majority of people and to change the role of work in our lives and to turn our society on, to go from a scarcity mindset to an abundance mindset, to embrace a purpose mindset. So then we started looking at, like, how do you actually do that? Beautiful, inspiring goal, but how do we actually do that? And the first thing we found in our research was that when people don't know what fulfills them, when people don't know what their purpose is, they're very unlikely to be fulfilled. So the first thing we did is we started looking at how we define purpose in our careers and trying to look at what does the actual psychology and science say about this? Because for a long time, faith has helped to answer this, coaches, philosophers, but now we have the data science, we have the psychology to actually understand, why is it that one person gains a sense of purpose from this versus this? What is actually going on that's causing someone's wiring to have them drawn towards certain work, from getting fulfillment from certain things? And can we predict that for people? And we were able to develop an assessment that in just 10 minutes was able to determine with rough accuracy what someone's actual purpose is, to start on that journey of really beginning to know who you are so that you can take ownership of your work and to make it fulfilling. And we rolled that out across the country, everyone from the Navy to consulting firms to startups to nonprofits to students, starting to understand through data science what their purpose was. But then we ran into an obstacle. We found that just knowing it wasn't enough. Often people would uncover it, but then it would slowly just start to fade if it wasn't actively being brought back to the forefront over and over again, and if it wasn't socially reinforced. And we did more research with PwC, the consulting firm, and what we found was that the people who were sustainably working with purpose and who were fulfilled, we call them positive deviants. They're deviants in a positive sense, in that they were doing something different that was yielding a positive result. And the thing we found that really stood out was the people who were truly fulfilled were the ones that were working with their peers, with their colleagues, to continuously reflect on what it was they were doing, who they were, and how they could bring that to the foreground. And we call that peer coaching, this process of interacting with our colleagues to talk about our work, to process who we are, to be able to design our jobs on a daily basis, to align with what brings us purpose. And we're just seeing such incredible results when we see people doing this as a regular practice. So at Imperative, to help support this moonshot, we've built the first ever peer coaching technology platform with investment from venture capital, to be able to actually scale this as a process inside organizations, to enable people to have these powerful breakthrough conversations, not once or twice, but every 2 weeks throughout the rest of their career, so that we keep that at the forefront of their work. And that gives us the chance to truly scale this and to be able to achieve that moonshot goal of ensuring that at least 2/3 of people in our workforce are fulfilled by the year 2030. So I want to challenge you personally to join in this moonshot yourself by really spending the time to figure out what is your purpose, what drives you, and to then build the social network around yourself, the support with your colleagues, to regularly make that a priority in your work, to be talking about it, and to also be helping the people around you find their purpose and to be able to support them in their workplace so they can be part of the new 66% of people who are fulfilled. So I just want to thank you in advance for the courage to be part of that movement, to hold yourself to that account. And then I just, in closing, want to also challenge you to think about, Is there a moonshot that you want to achieve, that you want to be part of? Is there a change in our society that you believe is necessary? You may not know how to get there, and most goals that we don't know how to get there are the ones that are actually worthwhile. But what is that goal that you would like to see changed? And how could you tie that into a language that inspires people to join you to be part of that change? Because right now, we need change in our society. And I can think of no one better than the audience here today. The incredible leaders here today who've already shown a commitment to service and a commitment to their society and to our country, who can help lead these moonshots that are so needed. So I'm just going to leave with that challenge for you to live this life of purpose for yourself and for those around you, and to be looking for what is that moonshot that you can call on all of us to serve, to help you achieve. And I hope that you can call and reach out to me and have me join in that if there's a way that I can help you with your moonshot. And with that, I just want to thank you for your service and your continued leadership. And if you ever are in need of support, if there's things I can do to help, never hesitate to reach out. You can always reach me at aaron@imperative.com, and I hope to hear from you soon.